Most empathic individuals don't really need feedback. They're monitoring themselves 24/7. So when they hear feedback from other people, whether it's critical or not, it's another piece of evidence to mull over. In this video, I'll unpack why this happens to people who have particularly high levels of empathy, and I'll share ways in which you can restore and reinforce your self-belief. This message came in from a woman called Elena. Hi Jess. I had my mid-year review last week and most of it was great. My manager said she was really happy with my performance, loved how I handled a recent client situation, and appreciated how dependable I am. But then, right at the end, she said, "Oh, just be mindful not to go into too much detail in meetings. We're tight on time lately." I smiled and nodded, but I felt myself freeze. I went home and spent the whole night thinking about it. I kept wondering, do I talk too much? Do I sound unsure of myself? Am I boring people? Am I taking up too much space? Do others think I'm wasting their time? I felt so bad, so awkward, that the next day in our team meeting, I didn't say a word. I was so busy overthinking everything I wanted to say in case it came across badly. Oh, Eleanor, thank you so much for writing in to me. I've got 3 shifts that I want to share with you that will help you move from feeling fragile and susceptible to other people's comments and criticism, even when it's not really criticism necessarily, or even when it's vague and we interpret it as criticism, to go from fragile to feeling a bit more grounded, to feeling a little bit more ourselves, a little bit stronger in our self-belief. Shift number 1, catch the spiral early. And by this I mean notice really early on, like before the thoughts become the rumination, before the waking up at 3 a.m. becomes a sleepless night. Catch those thoughts immediately. What we're looking for here is the maybe I should have. Did I really? Where you're questioning yourself, or you're questioning what was happening in that situation that actually you can never answer. Shift 1 is really about noticing your reaction to this. So catch it early before it spirals out of control. Shift 2, interrupt your inner critic with a bit of self-compassion. Most empathic individuals don't really need feedback. They're monitoring themselves 24/7, constantly mulling over things, worrying if they did something wrong or said something inappropriate, or whether they should intervene or should do something differently. So when they hear feedback from other people, whether it's critical or not, it's another piece of evidence to mull over. Another piece of evidence that seeps through that zorb of Zen, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the previous video. It has a personal impact on you. And because you're high in empathy, because you are naturally tuned into others, you want to explore it. So it feels like a good thing to do, to explore this criticism, to get to know it. But actually, you'll notice that that spiral is just going to ruin your self-belief. So ask yourself with a bit of compassion, I'm noticing the thoughts I'm having. Is it really helping me to have these thoughts or ruminate right now? If it's 3 a.m. in the morning, is it really helpful to have this thought right now? The answer is usually no. And instead, you could try and journal on this whole situation. How does it feel for you when you feel like ruminating, or when you feel that you're being oversensitive to somebody else's feedback? You could also inquire with yourself, like, am I spiraling out of control for any particular reason? And what would I say to a friend who was experiencing the same thing? What would you say to a friend who spoke to you saying, oh, I'm spiraling out of control, I'm ruminating on this thing and I don't even know what it means and it's really vague and maybe it's nothing and everything else that they said in my mid-year review was positive? What would you say to that friend? If you really want to, go back to them and say, look, I know you gave me this throwaway comment at the end, but I really would like to know a bit more about that. You have every right to ask. Shift 3, reconnect with your internal authority. By this I mean reconnect with your own sense of self. You look at yourself through your own lens and decide for yourself that other people can comment, other people can have an opinion, good or bad. It won't impact how I feel about myself. I trust myself to be doing a good job, I trust myself to be doing my best, and I like the way I am. I want to share an analogy that I use with my clients. Imagine for a moment a big top circus tent. Do you know the kind? It's got a massive red and white roof and draping sides. Inside the circus, it's animal friendly and everyone loves working there, okay? So it's a beautiful place to be. Inside the circus, you've got trapeze artists, lion tamers, The movement, the hustle and bustle, the people juggling and moving around the circus, preparing and rehearsing for tonight's big fiesta in front of the crowd. At the very heart of this circus, at the very heart of the big top tent, is the king pole. Now this is your king pole. It represents your inner core, your self-belief. It represents how you feel about yourself. Now, as you can imagine, over the years, the circus moves around the country. This king pole gets piled into the ground. It becomes worn and torn. Things knock into it. If a storm comes, then the king pole begins to rock a little bit and the ground at the base of the king pole begins to open up. What we've got now is a king pole that isn't sturdy any longer. It's got cracks. It's really not as strong and as sturdy as it needs to be. Now, if this is your king pole, if this is your self-belief, this is exactly what's happening to it every time you receive a piece of criticism that you are absorbing. Every passing comment, every strange look, every strange vibe, that's all going to impact your own self-belief, because to the empathic person, other people matter. Other people's opinions matter more than they should. We'll deal with that another time. But for now, focus on your king pole. So how are you going to repair it? Imagine repairing it with a bit of polyfiller. You sand down the cracks and you fill them up, maybe you put some varnish on it, you make this king pole look brand new, you pile it back into the ground and you solidify the earth that's come loose at the base of it. That's like you becoming secure and grounded and stable in your self-belief. By reinforcing your king pole, you're reinforcing your self-belief. So no matter what is happening around you, no matter how crazy the circus gets, you are grounded, secure and stable. And that is what leadership is all about. Let's move on to the empathic inquiry. I've got 3 reflective questions for you. The third is the most potent. 1. What's the smallest comment that has stuck with me far longer than it should have, and why? 2. When feedback shakes me to the core, what is the one thing I am afraid it confirms about me? 3. What would change if I could hold my king pole steady even when people do not approve of me, even when people try and argue against me or they give me negative feedback? What would change? The shift you're taking is helping you away from the spiral of self-doubt and moving towards grounded authority, having that leadership presence that you deserve. And that's what I do inside empathy-powered leadership programs. Check out the links in the comments below. If you're ready to stop overthinking and being overly sensitive to other people's criticism, and you're really serious about leading with authority and calm presence, the empathy-powered leadership programs are for you. You're taking that next step. You're honouring your king pole instead of handing your self-worth over to other people. In the next video, we're going to explore one of my favourite themes, others. Other people. Now, we've just tapped into what other people say to you and how that can affect you, but this theme is broader. I'll go into why empathic people are so susceptible to other people, how it can be a really good thing, how it can be a really negative thing for both you and for them, and then look at some ways in which to begin to heal that part of yourself that looks to others for reassurance, and instead turn your focus inwards. There's always more to uncover.